Live from Revolution Studio in the DMV, this is the Dopamine Revolution Podcast. I'm your host, Sean David Cohen, and today's hot topic, the Dopa Gene. Yes, this is the Holistic Living Network, where we promote and protect the holy grail of brain juice, the elixir of life, dopamine. Yes, learn how to biohack and catapult the most important element of your cognition, the fuel for your critical thinking skills, dopamine. Yeah, so happy to be alive. My dad used to say that all the time. So happy to be alive. Yes, I'm Sean David Cohen, educator, author, podcaster, and natural remedy creator. Yes, I am here to help you protect and promote your dopamine production and the use of your dopamine and your Dopa Gene. Yeah, I bet you've never heard of that before. The Dopa Gene. It just occurs to me yesterday. I'm thinking, I wonder if there are genes for dopamine. Genetic. Are we just genetically creating dopamine, or are we genetically disposed to a certain amount? Can we screw up our genetics with all these crazy chemicals that are in food and medicine and vaccines? Can we mess up our dopamine? Absolutely. The Dopa Gene. Yes, Dopa-Decarboxylase. That's the dopamine gene. The DDC, decarboxylase. The DDC gene provides instructions for making the enzyme aromatic L-amino acid decarboxylase, also known as AADC or DDC. This enzyme plays a vital role in the synthesis of neurotransmitters, specifically dopamine and serotonin. DDC is responsible for the final step in the pathways that produce these critical chemical messengers in the brain and nervous system. Plus, the DDC gene is crucial for alerting us, keeping us alert, helping us pay attention from moment to moment. This is how we remain alert and aware. The Dopa Gene. Yes. Alerting refers to the ability to achieve and maintain response readiness. This is like battle. This is like warriors on the battlefield have to be ready. We have to be ready every day, all day. You know how you got to be like a defensive driver so you don't get in a wreck? All the time. I swear if I wasn't a defensive driver, I'd probably get in a wreck twice a day. People bobbing and weaving, texting while they're driving, coming into your lane, cutting you off, deciding they got to go in a different direction right before they get on the highway. Oh no, I don't want to get off here. They don't even look. They don't even check their blind spot. You got to be ready. You got to be attentive all the time. Tree limbs falling when it's snowing, ice, black ice on the road or the sidewalk. You slip and fall, crack your head open. You got to be aware all the time. All the time. The DDC. It's response readiness in preparation for incoming stimuli. So incoming, this can be knowledge. This can be something vital you need to know to make your day better or your life better. And you miss it if the Dopa Gene is damaged or non-functioning or dysfunctional because you're eating chemicals or injecting them or breathing them in. Environmental toxins. This is wild stuff. Executive attention, executive function. I know you've heard that. Executive attention involves the mechanism for monitoring and resolving conflicts among thoughts, feelings, and responses. So how are you going to resolve conflicts? When somebody's negative, you get that crabs in a barrel where people are trying to pull you down and pull you out of your goodness, out of your spirit energy. They're trying to wreck it because they're negative Nancy's, because they're negative Bobs at the office trying to mess you up. People on the road try to cut you off and flip you off because they see your head bobbing to some music or they see you smiling at the red light. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to resolve the conflicts without the Dopa Gene functioning properly? The Dopa Gene, Dopa-Decarboxylase. Attention is a central cognitive process involved in selectively concentrating on a certain aspect of the environment. Selectively concentrating on a certain aspect of the environment. Research on attention has potential applications in many areas, including education and executive function. Here's the definition of executive function. It's always good to know the definition. It's easier to work in new knowledge and new information into your repertoire, into your daily being and function and high frequency living if you know the definition, and then you have good examples, and then you know how to apply it. Okay, so this is all about application. Executive function is a set of cognitive skills that are essential for managing everyday tasks and behaviors. These skills include working memory. So you got to think back quick. You got to remember, oh, wait. I'm talking about this, but I need to mention that from yesterday or last week or last month or when I was little or when I was a young adult growing up and I figured something out. Cognitive flexibility. Okay, so you can't be a know-it-all. Somebody else is talking. You need to be learning. You need to be absorbing. They're smart. They're offering up some advice or intelligence or strategies, and you got to be cognitively flexible and inhibitory control. So you got to refrain from engaging like negative behaviors, negative energy, negative thoughts, waste of time, dangerous situations. Right? You got to have inhibitory control. You got to resist triggers for your addictions or past addictions or temptations that can wreck your health or your mentality. Executive functions that help individuals plan, focus attention, remember instructions, and adapt to new situations. This is all relating to the Dopa Gene. Decarboxylase, Dopa-Decarboxylase. Executive functions are primarily associated with the prefrontal cortex of the brain, acting as the brain's control center. See, when they come after the dopamine with the chemicals, they're coming after the control center. They don't care about some auxiliary stuff. They're coming after the motherboard. Executive functions, the prefrontal cortex of the brain acting as the brain's control center to facilitate goal-directed behavior. Overall, executive functions play a crucial role in self-control and the ability to manage complex tasks effectively. Complex tasks. This is real. This is so great. Lack of dopamine in the brain can contribute to various neurological and psychiatric conditions, including Parkinson's disease, depression, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Dopamine plays a crucial role in maintaining healthy brain function, and its imbalance can indirectly impact cellular processes in the brain. It's cellular. The Dopa Gene. Dopamine deficiency can contribute to cellular and genetic alterations in the brain. So it can affect your offspring if you screw up the Dopa Gene. Here's the impact on gene expression. And then we're going to get to chemicals in foods that cause destruction, mayhem, and the disassembling of the Dopa Gene, the mutation of the Dopa gene. Impact on gene expression. Dopamine signaling can influence gene expression, the process by which genetic information is used to create proteins. So they screw up the chemicals in food and medicine and personal care products and household cleaning products and fragrances. All of those chemicals, the crazy chemicals, the non-organic stuff, screw up the gene expression that creates the genetic information for creating proteins, the proteins that protect the dopamine, the proteins that surround the sacs that hold the dopamine in your brain, the protein around the neuronal pathways, around the fiber optics in your brain and body that carry the dopamine everywhere. Those are the proteins they're talking about, folks. The proteins around your brain, your cells, your mitochondria. That gets dissolved and decimated by the chemicals, and it impacts the gene expression, the ability to create more protein to keep protecting your dopamine. This is why I always say the dopamine is under attack. It's the life fuel for critical thinking and energy and motivation and creativity. They want us all robots. They want us to be dumb. They want us to go to work at the factory and box those wheat thins and put those handles on the car doors, like George Carlin said. That's what they want. They want us at the factory. 2 jobs. When you get done with the factory job, we got another job over at the lab. Yeah, you're going to feel important creating some food preservatives like sodium benzoate that also attacks the myelin sheath, the protein coating. Neurotoxicity and oxidative stress. Here we go. Dopamine, especially at high levels, is neurotoxic and contributes to oxidative stress. They're talking about addictions here, folks. If you're doing drugs or high dose caffeine like these crazy jacked up energy drinks, or you just overdo sugar, high fructose corn syrup, or you're eating aspartame and it's jacking up everything in your brain and nervous system, and you're running on high frequency, super high frequency all day, high octane, fight or flight, your immune system's under attack, and you're creating oxidative stress. You're using up the oxygen and you're depleting the oxygen in your cells, so your brain cells die. That's what they're talking about. Mainly drugs and food chemicals that jack up your dopamine so high, unnaturally, contributing to oxidative stress, which damages DNA and other cellular components. On top of that, prolonged imbalances, so all the addictions that I went over yesterday that you can cure with natural remedies, prolonged imbalances can indirectly lead to vulnerabilities in the brain's ability to cope with oxidative stress and maintain cellular integrity. And here we go to mitochondrial dysfunction, okay? And then I'm going to tell you all of the chemicals, the top chemicals, I looked them all up, the top chemicals that screw with your brain's function, your mitochondrial function and your dopamine function. The Dopa Gene. Mitochondrial dysfunction, chronic low dopamine levels affects mitochondrial function, which is critical for cellular energy production. Chronic deficiency contributes to mitochondrial dysfunction, leading to cell damage and impacting genetic stability. This is serious, folks. We're on the genetic cellular level, messing with your Dopa genes. And here's what causes it all. Industrial solvents that they use for seed oils, okay, for corn oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil, palm oil, rice bran oil, all of these funky oils they sell us, and they put it in all the chips and the processed foods. They contain hexane Hexane is the number one most popularly used chemical solvent to treat the seed oils. Hexane, it's a constituent vapor of gasoline. So they're washing your food stuff with gasoline, basically. Pour some gasoline on your burger and eat it. And see how you feel afterwards. Talk about brain death. Hexane. Then there's ethanol and chloroform. Methanol, ethanol, and chloroform. Chloroform, which puts you to sleep. They're using that to process seed oils. Then they have to deodorize it because the seed oils stink, especially canola oil, which is rapeseed oil because it's an insecticide. It stinks. And they got to deodorize it with chemicals. They use bleach to get the brown, funky fuel color out, because remember, these are petroleum byproducts. It's coming from the fuel in the ground, oil and gasoline and fracking. They're using the byproducts of all of that. This is like motor oil, folks. It would look like motor oil. All the cooking oils would look like motor oil if they didn't do this, if they didn't bleach it, and it would stink if they didn't deodorize it and use hexane. Then they use terpenes, which is like turpentine. You ever take a whiff of turpentine, it feels like you're going to pass out. Highly volatile chemical. They're using that. And then these oils turn to trans fats, and that's what gives you Alzheimer's and dementia. The trans fats in your brain, okay? They create plaques in the brain. Plaque. It solidifies like canola oil in your body. Causes memory loss and dementia. Then there's sodium benzoate, a preservative that's found in most jarred foods. All the big corporations use sodium benzoate. It's in like pickles and fruits and all kinds of jarred and other canned goods. Sodium benzoate. If you read the ingredients on everything like I do, and you see the word sodium benzoate, just set that product back down. It's dissolving the myelin sheath that protects your Dopa genes. Get it? It's attacking, sodium benzoate is attacking your executive function, your entire thought center, the motherboard in your brain and the frontal lobe. It's attacking it, trying to kill it, suffocate it. It's causing apoptosis, which is cell death. It's like cell suicide. It chokes out the cells so they get no oxygen, creating oxidative stress, and then the cells just die. You go brain dead. Talk about killing brain cells. It's not just drugs, folks. It's chemicals in conventional food. They use ammonia. They're using ammonia in most of the meats, okay? If you're not buying organic meat, if it doesn't say organic or wild-caught fish, don't buy it. They're using ammonia. They can't use it in organic food. They're using ammonia to treat the meats, like the deli meats, the hamburger meat, some of the steaks. They're using ammonia to kill all of the E. coli and the salmonella, the bacteria, the fungi. They got to kill it off so you don't get sick the next day. You get sick a week later, a month later, a year later, you're sick as a dog. You're getting dumb and your immune system functions screwed, but you can't sue them directly because you can't prove that it was the ammonia because it didn't happen like overnight like food poisoning does. So all they care about is that you don't get food poisoning the next day. That's all the big corporations care about. Otherwise, you can't prove that all of the chemicals that they put in your food are screwing up your entire life. Bleach, they're bleaching the meats, they're bleaching the fish. This is why they have to add back in the coloring. They got to add back in the reds and the pinks, and they got to dye the fish and the meat back to a good-looking color that looks fresh and clean. They got to add food coloring. They're literally adding artificial dyes, which cause more health problems. They're adding those. And then they use formaldehyde. I went over this on a podcast. They're using formaldehyde, embalming fluid, to embalm you while you're alive, to slowly embalm you, to freeze up. It stops the functioning of your cells. It stops the dopamine in its tracks. It blocks it. Everything, just like a dead body's preserved. It's preserving everything and keeping it from functioning. Slows everything down. This is what they're doing, folks. It's crucial to understand this. You've got to protect your executive function. They're coming after it. And I've got great news for you. It's all in my book, The Dopamine Revolution. 315 pages. Learn how to protect your dopamine. It's all in here. It's consolidated in one spot. And by the way, this is my 60th podcast. My 60th, 2 solid months I've been at it. And it's all in this book. Get the book. It's on Amazon. The Dopamine Revolution by Sean David Cohen and Dr. Masin Habib. Yeah, 30 years in the natural health world, practicing medicine, holistic medicine, integrative medicine. Dr. Habib co-authored this book, The Dopamine Revolution. Yeah. Every day, never quitting. Protect the Dopa Gene. Yeah. Holistic living at its best. Have a great day, everybody. You know I love you. High frequency living. Woo! Yeah, the old school boombox. All right.